At least abbreviate, I'm sorry. Don't always say if that's not, we don't have that. TPA, be sure you tissue plasminogen activator. A lowercase t with a capital P and an A. TPA, tissue plasminogen activator. What does it do? Converts plasminogen to plasmin. Also know that it's genetically engineered. Remember how they go through all that stuff. And so it's a version of human tissue plasminogen. So you can just kind of just make sure that'll be on your tip. Be sure you got that down. Okay. Yeah, make sure you got that one. At least you know what TPA is. And know that it's tissue plasminogen activator, meaning, again, that simply works to convert plasminogen to plasmin. What does plasmin do? Dissolves blood clots. You got that? All right, make sure you know that. That's important. And you'll hear about it. You'll probably hear about that, especially if any of you ever work for cardiology people. If you ever work for cardiology people, you will hear stuff like this. Okay? Everybody okay with this stuff? You got enough of it? You got it? Got it down? Adrian? All right, everybody okay with that? All right, so there it is. And there it is just again, the same thing. I think I was playing with the power with the thing in the presentation. I need to come around one time. I just hadn't deleted these others. There it is again, just playing with it. I was playing with it one day. All right, it's the same thing. Three different ways of showing it. All right, the same thing. All right, so there it is. Now, right here, a hemostatic. A hemostatic is any medication that will stop bleeding. And like, for example, vitamin K. Well, obviously, vitamin K is used because vitamin K, what is it necessary? It's necessary for sure for the production of prothrombin and some other clotting factors. And the main one you need to remember, the main tissue extract with thromboplastin, tissue thromboplastin, in other words, number three plus calcium activates number 7 plus calcium activates number 10, and so forth. So tissue extracts with tissue thromboplastin, Who is thromboplastin? Fibrinogen, prothrombin, thromboplastin. Thromboplastin is clotting factor number 3. So that's why that. So tissue extract with thromboplastin, that will work. Also, they say whole blood. Give a person whole blood. You give a person whole blood, you're giving them clotting factors, right? They're getting clotting factors with whole blood. So that's why that's done. And then I don't know, this right here I say astringent such as aluminum chloride, ferric chloride, zinc, that's astringent, means tightening. Maybe putting that on an area, possibly. And again, I haven't really researched that much. And silver nitrate, not given that, but maybe putting a solution of something on the skin where there's some bleeding. An astringent means to tighten. That's what an astringent is. And so maybe, and not that I'm going to ask you those, but now one right here, this one right here I will. See a rough surface such as gauze. Like you put a Band-Aid on a child's little cut where they skin their foot or their knee. And they fall off bicycles and tricycles very, very routinely. Especially little bicycles and tricycles. Have you run into that yet? Falling off the bicycle or the tricycle and skinning the knee. Oh yeah, and then they cry then they act like they've been shot or something. All right. All right. And there might be a little blood, and so forth. Oh, I'm dying. All right. But if you have a little Band-Aid to put on it and blow it a little bit, okay, it's going to be all right. But the Band-Aid, the Band-Aid is a rough surface, or the gauze is a rough surface, and that aids in platelet breakup. So that's really what that does. All right, blood clotting test. One of these is the only one. The test may be, in other words, why do you do blood clotting? If you're going to have a surgery, they're going to do blood clotting test before your surgery, and they'll most likely do prothrombin time. They'll most likely do that. That's one they will do is PT time. But there's some other tests that have been done. Say why do a hemophiliac patients they being treated with a clotting factor? They blood clotting test. Or a heart patient taking an anticoagulant, they're going to have a procedure. They'll do the blood clotting test. They definitely will do that in the hospital. They'll definitely do that. All right, and then a patient prepared with major surgery. They're going to do that for sure. They're going to do that. They're going to, if you're going to have surgery, Ugh, oh yeah, oh yeah, a woman about to give birth, you know, they're gonna do blood clotting tests. Now, what about this? Have we got a risk factor here with this female? Is she gonna do a lot of bleeding here with this birth procedure? You know, so they'll do that. All right, now, I wrote down in years past, some tests include clotting time. I don't know that this is ever done anymore. I won't ask you, I'm sure. Collect blood, immerse in a 37-degree water bath, tip back and forth every 30 seconds. Time taken to adhere to the side of the glass is watched. It's usually 5 to 15 minutes. I don't think that's ever done. That was done at one time. That's called clotting time. This one right here, you can do this one in the lab when we stick your finger to take your blood, do your blood type. In other words, bleeding, pierce the end of the finger like with the little lancets that like Kimberly brought me this morning. She brought me a whole bunch of little lancets. A whole bunch of little lancets she brought me this morning. When we do blood, their little thing, you get blood to come. Yeah. And then you touch the tip of your finger every few seconds. I have right here, touch the finger with a filter paper, a little piece every 30 seconds or so. The time when the paper no longer stains is the bleeding time, and they say that's 3 to 6 minutes. Again, that one right there, but this next one right here though, that one is, you put a star by that one, PT time. That one is not an old timer thing. That is done. That's done, the prothrombin time. All right, and so that one, they treat it with something like it's what ties up calcium. Now what I'll do when I go, they'll do a prothrombin time on me on Friday, and I'll ask some questions that I make them. Some of them they'll look and say, oh, I'll ask what is used to tie up the calcium in the prothrombin time. I'll ask them. I said, is EDTA used? EDTA is commonly used to bind up calcium, like for prothrombin time. They might use citrate or oxalates, but I'm going to ask them, what is used to, and they might say, oh, we don't know, we send that somewhere, I don't know, they do that, we don't know, something like that. All right, but if the blood is drawn, treated with a substance, something to tie, if calcium is bound up or rendered inactive, blood will not clot. Just remember that. Calcium is a player so many places in the blood clotting scheme. Calcium is a player. Look at that common pathway where calcium, prothrombinase in the presence of calcium converts prothrombin to thrombin. Thrombin in the presence of calcium converts fibrinogen to fibrin. And then the fibrin stabilizing factor, that's just the 13th factor. But calcium, and then you look at that extrinsic mechanism where calcium comes in. Okay, and even in the intrinsic, kind of look at it and see where calcium is a player. So bind up calcium, everybody, and blood won't clot. It will not do it. It's going to.